While Alhaitham might spend his days buried in books and theorems like the ultimate scholar DPS hybrid, on the battlefield he's all about slicing through foes with that effortless Dendro flair, turning every swing into a blooming catastrophe for enemies. As one of Someru's finest 5-star swordsmen, the Scribe of the Akademiya remains a top-tier Dendro main DPS in 2025's meta, excelling in Hyperbloom teams or Aggravate setups where his mirror-infused attacks can really shine and spread chaos. Whether you're theory crafting your way to Abyss clears or just want to make those Dendro reactions pop harder than ever, this guide will arm you with the knowledge to build Alhaitham into the intellectual powerhouse he was meant to be. No footnotes required. Alhaitham's normal attack, Abductive Reasoning, delivers a flurry of precise sword strikes that form the backbone of his on-field time, especially once enhanced by his mirrors. His elemental skill, Universality, an elaboration on form, is the star of the show. He slashes forward to deal Dendro damage and summons up to 2 Chisel-Light mirrors, which linger for 30 seconds and convert his subsequent normal, charged, and plunging attacks into Dendro-infused versions that hit like a theorem gone wrong. These mirrors also grant him stacks for extra damage amps, making his rotations feel like a well-calculated equation of pain. Then comes his Elemental Burst Particular Field, Fetters of Phenomena, which unleashes a massive AoE Dendro explosion and applies semblance stacks based on the elements around him. Each stack boosts his next normal attack's damage by a chunk, up to 4 stacks for that satisfying mirror flow combo that can shred through waves in seconds. It's all about stacking those mirrors and reactions to maximize his field time efficiency, turning him into a reaction machine that rewards smart elemental swaps. Kick things off by maxing Alhaitham's elemental skill right away, since it's the engine driving his mirror generation and Dendro conversion for consistent damage output. Follow that with his elemental burst to amp up those stack-based nukes and keep the pressure on during longer fights. His normal attack comes in third as it shines mostly when enhanced but isn't as foundational without the mirrors backing it up. Still, don't sleep on it for full rotations. To turn Alhaitham into a Dendro reaction beast, focus on sets that pump up his elemental mastery and crit potential while leaning into Dendro damage. The go-to is a full 4-piece Gilded Dreams, which grants massive elemental mastery boosts when he's spreading elements around, perfectly suiting his Hyperbloom or Aggravate playstyle and making every reaction hit like an overachieving student's thesis. For main stats, slot in Elemental Mastery or Attack, percent on the Sands to fuel his scaling, Dendro damage bonus on the Goblet for that raw elemental punch, and crit damage on the Circlet if you got solid crit rate from substats or your weapon. Otherwise flip to crit rate to hit that sweet 1-to-2 ratio. Substats should chase after crit rate and crit damage first to ensure those big hits land true, then pile on Elemental Mastery for reaction multipliers, with attack percent as a solid tertiary pick to keep his base damage humming. A touch of energy recharge can help if your team isn't battery heavy, but avoid overstacking it since his mirrors generate some on their own. If Gilded Dreams feels too elemental mastery hungry early on, mix in 2-piece Deepwood Memories with 2-piece Wanderer's Troop for a transitional setup that still shreds defenses and boosts mastery. Alhaitham's signature Light of Foliar Incision reigns supreme as his best-in-slot sword, delivering a hefty crit damage substat, alongside elemental mastery boosts and a passive that amps normal attack damage after using his skill. It's like it was forged in the Akademiya just for him. If that's locked away, Mist Splitter Reforged steps up as a fantastic alternative with its crit damage and elemental damage rotation buffs, keeping his Dendro swings elemental and fierce. Primordial Jade Cutter is another crit monster that adds HP for minor scaling tweaks and a defense shred passive. On the 4-star front, Wolfang is the meta darling for its crit rate and attack percent that skyrockets after dodging, synergizing with Alhaitham's agile playstyle if you're quick on the E key. For free-to-play heroes, Iron Sting remains a reliable craftable choice with its elemental mastery focus and reaction damage amp, letting you bloom your way to victory without breaking the bank. The Black Sword offers healing and crit for sustain, while Freedom Sworn can niche into support roles if you're quick swapping him more often. Alhaitham's ideal squad revolves around Dendro Resonance for that sweet 30 elemental mastery per character, and reactions that multiply his mirror mayhem, starting with the classic Hyperbloom setup of Alhaitham, Nahida for off-field Dendro application and elemental mastery sharing, Yelan or Furina to trigger those explosive blooms with Hydro, and Kuki Shinobu as the electro healer who turns seeds into booms while keeping the team alive. Furina edges out Yelan here for her fanfare damage buffs if you got the healing covered elsewhere. For an Aggravate twist, pair him with Fischl or Yai Miko for consistent electro, Kazuha to swirl and group enemies while shredding resistance, and a shielder like Zhongli or Layla to let Alhaitham farm stacks uninterrupted. If you're going burning for that spicy Dendro Pyro vibe, run Alhaitham with Toma or Dehya for continuous application, Nahida again for resonance, and Bennett to heal and buff through the flames. Quick Bloom variants swap in more off-field Dendro like Kale alongside a fast Hydro applicator like Xingqiu, freeing up the 4th slot for Baizhu as a Dendro healer, who also shreds enemy Dendro resistance for even bigger numbers. His flexibility means he slots into almost any reaction team as the on-field star. Just make sure your supports keep the elements flowing, and that's your blueprint for Alhaitham. The Dendro Scholar who turns pages and enemies into fertilizer with equal precision, still holding strong as a meta staple in 2025's Abyss rotations. Whether you're hyper-blooming your heart out or aggravating foes into oblivion, he'll make every clear feel like solving an Ancient Ruins puzzle. Catch me live on Twitch for builds, polls, and Alhaitham-inspired book club debates. Follow me on X for updates and hot takes, and don't forget to join the Discord to chat, theorycraft, and flex your mirrors. And hey, grab some clean merch at gachaking.store. By following this guide, you too can be a Gacha King! See you in the next one.